right, so basically, as Dodge promised, they'd be reducing their lineup as they move towards plug-in hybrids and they move towards battery electric vehicles or electrification. So, as you know, if you watched the unveiling of the Banshee SRT, Dodge that week claimed that they were rolling out some models called the last call models. So as you can see, it says Dodge rolls out 2 more last call models with Charger and Challenger Scat Pack swingers. Continuing its look back at historic muscle car models, Dodge releases new last call versions of the Charger and the Challenger with Scat Pack swinger trims. We're now in the middle of the last call models coming from Dodge to celebrate the end of its V8 era. The 3rd and 4th retro models are wide-body RT Scat Pack versions of the 2023 Dodge Challenger and the Charger that bring back the look of the swinger. Old school colors, throwbacks, and the Dodge Rombi all make appearances on this swinging duo that are also bringing gold school badging and paint treatment. No drag slicks for these cars. It's all about that look while cruising to your next 1960s or 1970s retro party. I can't say too many of the millennials are going to be going to any 1960s or 70s retro parties. Some people may try to get these cars. I think that these cars may end up being difficult to get. In most cases, you'll probably never see them because of the limited numbers. You're going to have some people who get fooled into thinking that these things are actually collector's cars. You need to understand what a collector's car when it comes to Mopar is. What you really need to do is you need to actually go to one of the Mopar Paloozas, or you need to go down to Carlisle when they actually have one of these car shows. I absolutely do not believe that the majority of these Chargers and Challengers are going to be keepers. One of the reasons why I believe that is because even if you look back recently, if you look at the 2006 through 2011 models, you almost see none of them. One of the things that was pointed out when I was reading about the Chrysler 300 yesterday was the fact that these cars, as I pointed out, these cars have a trouble with long-term reliability. These are not the 1960s Challengers. These are not the 1960s Chargers. These are not the real classics that are made of metal and everything's metal or chrome, and they're made of materials that are of a quality that they just don't break down, they don't fall apart. These things are mostly plastic. All of these cars are plastic. That shit does not last indefinitely. Now, if you're one of these dudes who has a garage or you got a showroom or something, you got yourself like a Dodge Demon and you got the crate, oh yeah, that car will probably be worth a lot later down the road. Some of these Hellcats, like the Redeye specifically, maybe even the new King Daytona, these will be worth money. Even these swingers, they may be worth money. The whole rest of these cars, man, these things are plastic. I really don't think that their interiors or their exteriors would last as long as the classic cars did. Like when you go to the Carlisle, these cars are driving around with their original paint. And some of these dudes, they got them in dry states and this, that, and other where it doesn't rain very much. Some of these people keep these cars, they got their original paint. Meanwhile, my Jeep needs a paint correction on the fucking hood. Some of these cars I see have the laminate peeling off of their paint, the plastic protective coating that's on that paint, the clear coat, and that's factory. And then even with the Demons, I remember seeing some of the louvers for the air intakes, like those things were breaking, and the car was brand new. Some of them were delivered that way. I'm like, yo, guys. Listen, if you believe it, go ahead and invest your money in it. But the question now becomes, well, what are you going to drive back and forth to work? Because most of y'all buying these cars, y'all are using them as daily drivers. So are you going to buy it and you're going to bubble wrap it and keep it stored for the next 50 or 60 years? Or are you going to be daily driving it until it gets totaled or until it falls apart because of the weather? I have to wonder. But at any event, so they say despite the swinger model being best known due to the original 1968-72 Dodge Dart, the nameplate returns on the farewell of V8 powered Dodges with the Charger and Challenger Scat Packs. The top of the line Dodge Dart Swinger 340 not only came with a 340 cubic inch under the V8 hood, well, it had a V8 under the hood, but also had functional hood scoops, disc brakes, and now infamous rear bumblebee stripe. While it wasn't the high-performance model until 1971, it was certainly the one you wanted to show up with when trying to impress your muscle car buddies during the era. So those right there are the last call swinger models, and as you can see, those are the badges. Me personally, I'm not crazy about green cars, and I'm not into this green. In fact, on the road, I've seen very few of the green Hellcats. I've seen a couple, but I haven't seen very many of them. Mostly, I always saw them at the dealer. It's not the color for it. First of all, it's absolutely not a color I'd want, nor am I in the market to buy one of these cars. So they say also, and this is important for later, they say that the fifth last call model would be announced on September 14th. That's today. So right now, I can take you to show you that one because that one was pretty much announced today. Today is September 14th. As promised, they did announce that the last call model would be announced today, and this is the King Daytona. So basically, they saved the best for last. Everything else up until this point was pretty much boring. So they say that they have the last call Hellcat with 807 horsepower. Only 300 of these special Hellcat Redeye wide-body models will be built. Each one is orange. Now, you may know that not long ago they launched the jailbreaks, and the jailbreaks basically allow you to option out your Charger if you're going to have it built pretty much to spec, regardless what specs you want on it, as long as the parts are available. Now, that beckons the question, why can't I option out a Chrysler 300 like that? Now, that's assuming if I even was in the market for one. Why can't I option out a Chrysler 300 like this? You see, I think where Dodge and Chrysler ultimately really screwed up was that at the very end of these productions, it should have been, how should I say, it should have been a mindset that we're going to Hellcat everything. The Challenger, the Charger, we already got Hellcats out of those. The Jeep Trackhawk, what they should have done was they should have come out as a group, Stellantis. They should have come out and say, you know what, we're going to make a final edition Jeep Trackhawk. Here's the problem. The Jeep Trackhawk, as far as I know, has already ended production. So they're not making any more of those because the Jeep Trackhawk was based on the WK2. And now we're up to the new Jeep Grand Cherokees that are either the L long wheelbase model or you got the regular wheelbase model. The Dodge Durango Hellcat, in my opinion, looked better and is better than the Jeep Trackhawk. Unfortunately, some people don't want that extra row, and they're not going to be able to do anything about it. So basically, the Trackhawk line has been ended, and the Durango Hellcat is still being produced for now, but it's going to eventually be ended. They said December 2023 of next year. That's going to be the end. So, again, if this was the last of the line, why didn't they save the absolute best for last? And at the very end, they say, listen, we'll make it so that you can order this Hellcat shit on the Chrysler 300. You know, it really bothers me that they didn't do that. It really, really bothers me. Because even though, to be perfectly honest, at this point, I am so sick and fucking fed up with that company that, but mind you, my Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT has been in the shop since August 1st. It's still waiting on a PCM module, the computer. And every single date that they claim that the thing is going to get there, they claim it hasn't gotten there, and that they say that the incoming is expected for like 2 days later. So here I am stuck without my Jeep Grand Cherokee. And the thing about it is, even when I get it back, all I'm focused on at this point is trading that fucking thing in for my Cadillac Electric Lyric. Now, this thing has been in the shop since August 1st. And as you can see, today is September fucking 14th. I'm not happy at all. As I said, I'm done with the fucking company. Had they offered the Chrysler 300 Hellcat years ago, yeah, I probably would have bought it. But at this point, even if they called me up right now and say, yeah, guess what? We're unlocking last calls on the Chrysler 300 and I'd probably hang up on the motherfuckers. And they could even say, yeah, we're going to put the Demon engine in it. Yeah, right? Would that make you happy? The answer's fucking no. Because at this point, I'm just disgusted with them. And let that be a warning to you before I even read this. If you buy one of these fucking cars, you're going to be stuck with their warranty service for the life of this car, whatever that turns out to be. And believe me, right now, I am absolutely not happy with their service at all. Not happy at all. Very not happy, extremely unhappy, extremely dissatisfied. And if you don't get the extensions on the warranties, and by the way, the extended warranty is like $3,000 to $3,500, depending upon which one you get. If you do not order in those extended warranties, and parts on this shit break after that 3 years, because first of all, the warranty that they come with is usually 3 years, 36,000 miles, whichever one comes first. You think you're going to be able to hold on to this thing indefinitely? Yeah, well, when shit starts to break, we'll see who's laughing then, because it'll be them laughing at yo ass. But at any event, it says we're already into the fourth week of Dodge's last call debuts for the 2023 Charger Challenger. Thus far, we've seen appearance packages applied to versions of Scat Pack trim levels of both models. First of all, the Scat Pack trim levels are a fucking waste of money as far as I'm concerned. The mere fact that they had the balls to sell, and it's sad because more recently, I actually took a closer look at a Scat Pack and realized all the shit that it was missing. They don't even give you the goddamn steering wheel that says SRT on it. I mean, the Hellcat steering wheel, they could have easily just put the Hellcat badge on it to signify the fact this is a Hellcat, and they didn't have to put SRT on that wheel. But the regular wheel should say SRT on it because you got the 6.4 Hemi engine. There's dudes who buy Scat Packs, they're adding on badges to make them look like, because the problem is when people see one of them Chargers, at this point, they're expecting to see either that Hellcat badge or they're expecting to see that SRT badge. So these dudes buying these Scat Packs, a lot of these dudes are ripping them bumblebees off that shit, because if you're okay with it, cool, but I think it's like a dumb badge. As far as I'm concerned, there should be a Hellcat badge, nothing else in that space. If you don't have a Hellcat, there should be nothing else there. You have no idea how disappointing it is when you think you see a Hellcat and then it's a turn of a fucking bumblebee. I don't want to see that stupid shit. But anyway, most of these dudes are debadging these cars. Now, most of them don't have the balls to up-badge a car to a Hellcat when it's not, which is good because you're not supposed to. Now, putting other badges on there like 6.4 or whatever, or that's fine because nobody really cares that much. But if, my thing is they have to end up putting all those SRT badges that they get off of eBay on the car, because the first thing somebody's going to ask is this a Charger SRT? Or when they see it and they don't understand the subtle differences, some of them, between the Super Scat Pack, which comes with Hellcat hoods and even Redeye hoods. They don't understand the difference between the subtlety of those and a Hellcat, short of seeing that Hellcat badge. A lot of these dudes get these wraps on these cars, and they take the badges off to get them wrapped. So some people see these Chargers and automatically just assume they're Hellcats. A lot of kids do that, and they'll ask, oh, is that a Hellcat? Oh, could you? But a lot of them don't understand the subtlety. So the thing about it is, this right here is an actual bona fide Hellcat Daytona. And they're apparently, it looks like they're giving it with the, obviously the modified red engine, the Redeye engine, which is basically a detuned Demon engine. So it has a smaller supercharger than the Demon. But anyway, they say it's called the Charger King Daytona. It's not a derivative of the naturally aspirated Scat Pack. This is a Charger SRT Hellcat Redeye Widebody with an extra 10 horsepower added in for good measure. That means it's supercharged 6.2-liter V8, makes 807 horsepower, exactly the same as the SRT Super Stock that debuted in 2020. It rides on 20-inch Satin Carbon Warp Speed wheels with orange Brembo brakes behind them. Suspension tuning remains the same, as does the 8-speed automatic transmission. The rest of the upgrades are aesthetic, and it starts with an exterior coat of Go Mango Orange, the only color offered on this particular last call edition. It's complemented with satin chrome badges on the outside and black graphics on the hood, roof, trunk. The King Daytona branding is on the quarter panels. Inside, the color combo continues with a black interior feature, orange contrast stitching. Daytona is stitched onto the seat back in orange, and an orange King Daytona badge is impossible to miss on the passenger side dash, as with all 2023 Charger and Challenger models. The last call plaque is mounted under the hood. With more power comes less availability, whereas the Challenger Shakedown, Charger Super B, and Charger Challenger Swingers debuted with production runs of 1,000. Dodge will only build 300 King Daytonas. As for the name, it's a homage to Big Willie Robinson, William Big Willie, a staple in the drag racing scene through the 1960s, 1970s, who drove a 69 Charger named, you guessed it, King Daytona. Now, let's unpack that. And as you see, they also mentioned the fact that they have the 300C, 485 horsepower SRT 6.4 liter engine right there. Now, in my opinion, and also somebody came on my channel somebody came on my Facebook and they made a comment. Let me see if I can see that comment real quick. So the comment that they made was, and it was a good comment. Where did I put it? Fucking Little Mermaid. Okay, yes. He made a good comment. He said, okay, one person says, they keep doing these stupid heritage stripes and shit when all we want is a damn 300 Hellcat, not another Scat Pack and a 300 wide body. Okay, or 300 body, I should say. And then there's this, I think that was the comment, but somebody else made another comment, and their comment was basically, it said, well, this person, Zach Austin, he says, I'm not sure why Chrysler never did a 6.2 300, making it direct competition against the CTS-V. I mean, I love my Charger, but I'd take a 300 any day of the week if it was available. Yeah, that's a good point. But see, the CTS-V, they never really had to compete with it because the CTS-V didn't have enough horsepower to keep up with the Charger Hellcat. The Charger Hellcat was way more powerful. Somebody basically pointed that out too. They pointed out the fact that you can't get this car the way you wanted. And again, this is a very limited run car. And they have laid it out the way they want it to be laid out, and that's how it is. So once again, if you do manage to buy one of these things, you can't modify it. It has to stay that way for it to ever really hold its value. You can't really modify these things. In fact, I would say you'd almost be best to take its wheels and its tires off and to change those wheels with regular Hellcat wheels, and then to take these wheels and wrap them up, just in case you did plan on keeping this car for a length of time. Because these wide body wheels, these are some really nice wheels. I remember when the Daytonas first came out and I saw the wheels that they came with. Those wheels are really nice wheels, especially in the wide body package. Those are really nice wheels. They're big, they're huge. Those wheels are absolutely huge. They're shiny. They're really pretty wheels. Thing about it is, if you bought a car like this, would you really want to drive around with those wheels on? It's like, if it was me, I would get the Hellcat replica wheels and drive with those on the car. But the thing about it is, again, these cars are kind of trying to be showpieces. And, if you show up to a car show with it, you're going to want to have the regular wheels it came with, which I could totally understand. My thing is, if you really want this car to be worth something and you're going to wrap it up and you're going to bubble it up, not use it as a daily driver, my thing is I would take those wheels off as soon as I got the car and I'd throw some regular Hellcat wheels on there, because those wheels alone are worth a lot of money. They can't even keep these cars on the dealership lots because people will steal the fucking parts right off them. So, yeah, again, same information right here. They list all the stuff that comes with it. Yes, 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 yes. And, again, I'm not disappointed by the last calls because I saw this coming. I knew that they were going to have to end with basically a parts bin money grab. I really understood that. I'm just disgusted with them for not giving Chrysler 300 buyers a chance to get themselves a last call 300 Hellcat, which should have been a model being built in the first place. There is virtually no tremendous difference between buying the Hellcat 707 and buying a Hellcat Redeye. I'm pretty sure a lot of these people who are on YouTube have really realized right away when they buy one of these cars for a YouTube channel that it doesn't get them any more views. It doesn't get them any less views. It really doesn't matter. Hellcat is a Hellcat. Most people out there in the public don't know the difference. Only a few enthusiasts and some, people who actually bother to pay attention know the difference. It's a damn shame that the 300 was not offered at least one of these Hellcat engines. Even if it wasn't going to get like this. Because I'll tell you what, if it was me, I would have given all of these models, the Challenger and the Charger and the 300, I would have made all of them last calls. And you could put that last call badge on there. And I would have given them all that exact same engine. Now, if they felt that, oh, yeah, we don't want to do that, we don't want like a 300 as powerful as a Redeye, fine. Just give it the regular Hellcat engine, but I still would have called it a last call edition or whatever. People tuned in to Chrysler when they made this announcement because they were excited and they thought they were going to get a Hellcat 300. When the picture of those brakes, I don't even know why they bothered to do that. They put out a picture of the brakes and they put out a picture of the wheel. And people right away pointed out, wait a minute, those are 4-piston Brembo calipers, not 6. So this can't be a Hellcat because you'd have to have the 6, not the 4. Y'all had people tune in. I'm talking about Chrysler. They had people tune in so that they could see an underwhelming release of a car that basically was already released years ago that I owned and some of these other people may have owned. Instead of swinging for the fences and hitting hard and saying, you know what we're going to do? For this very last run, we're going to make these 300s. We're going to put this Hellcat engine in these fucking 300s. Redeye engine, regular Hellcat engine, doesn't matter. They could have done that. They refused to do it, and they basically killed this car. They killed this car a long time ago. And for those people who keep saying, oh, man, why did they have to discontinue the V8 all-wheel drive 300? Well, there's a very simple reason for it, and I brought it up a long time ago in another video. The take rate on these cars for the V8 with the all-wheel drive was only like 15%. The problem was that anybody who was spending that kind of money gravitated towards the Hellcat models. As far as people spending this kind of money, they were selling like way more Challengers. I believe the number was like over 20-1. So for every 20-something Challengers they were only selling like one 300. And it makes sense because the Challenger's the retro car, and these old men who wanted one of these cars when they were younger guys couldn't get one then. So now they're old, retired, they have one now. When you go to Carlisle, when you go to Moparpalooza, it's filled with all these old guys. And these old guys got their cars, and they're reminiscing, and they're telling stories about it, and all the money they wasted, and all the money they spent, and all the accidents they got into. I understand why they canceled certain levels of the 300. If it was up to me, it would have been, I would have limited the 300 to the V6 all-wheel drive, the V6 rear-wheel drive, the SRT model, and I would have given you a Hellcat. I don't really believe this car actually needed a V8 with the all-wheel drive because the V6 all-wheel drive was such a good combination and it was great on fuel economy. Again, the company itself got rid of it because the take rate was only 15%. Fine, I understand that. But the SRT models should have been, if they were afraid of them not selling, which they sold, if they were afraid of them not selling, they should have had them built to order. If they were afraid of a Hellcat 300 not selling, which, goddamn it, you know those fucking things would have sold. They should have had it built to order. There's no reason why these cars couldn't have been built to order. They could have brought out this 300 and they could have given it a Hellcat hood, pretty much like everybody who tries to mod that 300 make it look like a Hellcat model. But they could have done it, and they could have done it with all their testing and all their their engineering, and they could have put out a product that worked. They refused to do it. So as far as I'm concerned, the last call Charger is, it's what you want. The King Daytona, you're not going to be able to buy this car. You think you're going to, first of all, if you even try to buy a Hellcat right now, most of these dealers are charging between $5,000 and $10,000 over. Some of them are charging more. This car is going to be so difficult to get that you ain't getting it. Now, there's going to be a couple of people who calling up Chrysler right now to order that shit. I don't know where the order form is. I think it was on the Chrysler website or the Dodge website or something. But the bottom line is, most of these dudes who could afford this car, you're going to pay so much more than this car is worth. You're going to pay so much more that it's going to be almost impossible to get this car. So this is the interior. As you can see, it has the orange badge. It's got that same shitty plastic interior, except it has like a little bit of orange stitching around it. And you got the same blank buttons, no adaptive cruise control, no distance control, no none of that. And that's it. That's what you get. That's what you get out of Charger Daytona. You get the engine that's a Redeye, and that's it. That's what you get. So I'm not impressed. It's nice that, that they put out a model like this. Here's the problem. The Charger and the Challenger are both played out now. They're just both played out. What it appears to me that they're planning on doing with that Banshee that they brought out, it appears that they're going to put out a 2-door and a 4-door based on that design, with some minor changes. But again, when they brought that Banshee out, they had a perfect opportunity to show you a 4-door and a 2-door. They showed you a 2-door, and that was it. A lot of people want this 4-door. They need this 4-door. Why they did that, when I saw that, and I saw that that car was still a concept, not a production model, I knew right away that as soon as they showed that, I knew that basically Chrysler was farther behind the ball than I expected them to be. And that's just where it came from. So what should have been the most exciting part of their entire presentation turned out to be a letdown, laughable, joked about. It's like even the people who tried to stay positive and upbeat, they couldn't put it down. The fact that revving sound was just ridiculous. Now, the technology that they're going to offer in that car, the battery electric technology they're talking about, we're going to have an 800-volt electric all-wheel drive propulsion system and all that. Yeah, that all feels great and everything. Unfortunately, your key audience doesn't want an electric car. What Marquise Brownlee, he says, yeah, this is a first look. Do muscle car people actually like this fake sound? So you got a Tesla Plaid owner. This guy's got a Tesla Model S, and he's making fun of this shit. And the Tesla doesn't even make a fake engine sound. And it says this will now be competing for the first Google search result for electric charger, which is hilarious. Yeah. So, and the sad thing is, I guarantee you, this car, when they bring it out, this car is never going to be able to compete with what Tesla's got. I mean, Tesla has broken pretty much all the records, and if they kept going the way they're going, it would be impossible to catch up to them. The only way you'd be able to do it is to license their technology, and you still wouldn't be able to catch up to them, because what they've got, the stuff that they're putting out, even though they're charging $150,000 for it, $200,000 for that Roadster, it's like you'd never be able to compete. First of all, a hybrid this size ain't competing with one of those Teslas. It's just not doing it. It's just not doing it. Time will tell, but one thing I can assure you this, mark my words, Stellantis is going to do the same thing to Dodge that they did to Chrysler. Stellantis has basically killed Chrysler, basically killed them. Chrysler used to have, think about how many cars they used to have. They used to have the Chrysler Pacifica. They had the Chrysler 300. It wasn't called a minivan. They had the Town and Country at that time, but they used to have the Chrysler Pacifica. They had the PT Cruiser. Chrysler was putting forth interesting retro-styled cars, and now look at Chrysler. They got a Chrysler 300 on its way out. They've got a minivan, the Chrysler Pacifica. They've got a second minivan, the Voyager. How you chopped down this company to 2 minivans and a Chrysler 300, I have no idea how you pulled that off. How you blatantly tore that company down that way. Even the 200 was axed because it was too small and it wasn't selling as well as they wanted to, but they didn't really put enough thought into it. But you chop down Chrysler. Chrysler used to have the PT, what was it, the Prowler, the PT Cruiser, the Crossfire SRT 6. I mean, I really thought at that time, I thought Chrysler was going places. They tore that, and it wasn't just Stellantis. It was Sergio Marconi from FCAU. They tore that company. Just think about it. I'm not making this shit up. They tore that company down after all of that merger of equals with Daimler Chrysler and all that. They tore that company down to 2 minivans and a Chrysler 300. And right now, all they can talk about is the airflow concept. Where's the airflow? Let's see that. The airflow concept, right? So, first of all, as you can see, the negative reaction to even the Charger, Banshee, whatever, the negative reaction to that won't be the same for the airflow, simply because the airflow is going to go to people who really want a battery electric vehicle and can't find anything else to buy because they're all sold out. Battery electric vehicles like my Cadillac Lyric, those cars are so sought after that if you do buy one, you don't even get off the lot and people are offering to give you more money than you paid just to get that car, because people are that desperate to get a battery electric car right now. And gas is below $4. I just got some, regular unleaded. Gas is below $4. People are desperate to get these electric cars. Desperate. Now, I think the airflow will sell. My thing is, they need to show us more. There should have been an electric version of Chrysler 300. Even if you look at Hyundai. Hyundai is putting out, Hyundai and Kia are low-key dominating the EV market. They've got the Kia EV6. They've got the Hyundai Ioniq 5. They've got the Genesis GV60. And now they're bringing out a regular Genesis that has been made into a battery electric car. So they have a Genesis G80 H-Track, which is being made into a regular electric car. They are competing directly with Tesla, which is actually amazing considering nobody else is on that level, with the exception of Hyundai and Kia. But Chrysler, if they put one of these cars out, I'm pretty sure people will buy it. Just like, all these people they claim signed up to buy the Dodge, the Hornet. My only issue is, here you're buying an electric vehicle from a company that has shitty fucking service. Shitty service. I would like to think that this was all their service problems are due to COVID. But if you think back, you tell me, if you've been with Chrysler or you've been with Dodge for a long time, how is your service plan? Because I've heard horror stories. I've heard plenty of horror stories. I've made videos of dudes who had Dodge Charger Hellcats, brand new, steering problems. You may remember I had showed you this one dude. He had an octane red Hellcat Charger, steering problems from day one. In fact, what was funny was I actually got in that car and made a video about that car long before he actually bought the car. And he didn't even know I was in the car and I had actually videoed the car. He bought the car, steering problems from day one. No, it wasn't my fault. I have other people, problems, bearing issues with the supercharger. So let me tell you something. No, I'm done. I'm done. And not only am I done, they're done. Stellantis is going to do to that company. Stellantis is going to do to Dodge Exactly what they did to Chrysler. You're up against European regulators. You're up against greenhouse gas emission laws and requirements. And you put those two things together, they don't mix. So you rest assured that's what's going to happen. They are going to do exactly to Dodge what they did to Chrysler. They're going to do exactly to Dodge what they did to Chrysler. I think Ram may be able to... Ram might be able to survive, maybe. It's a possibility they will, but I don't foresee... I just don't foresee Dodge being able to last. When your core audience is made up of people who want a product that you're no longer going to make, I absolutely just don't see it. See, in order for Dodge to really stick around, what would really have to happen is they would have to do things that they can't do at this point. They'd literally... Imagine if Dodge dropped the price of Hellcats to $50,000. Imagine if Dodge made just Hellcats and got rid of the fucking SRTs. And they dropped the price of it. That's not going to happen. It's an impossibility. But that's what the audience right now wants. The problem is that those cars are already played out. They're played out. The Challenger and the Charger are played out. So they know at this point they have to get rid of those cars. But on top of that, you got the regulations and you got the emissions demands and requirements. And on top of that, you got these Europeans who don't care about your American ego. They don't care about the fact that you're going to car meets and you want to show up with the latest product. They don't care about none of that. They don't care about your ego. These European regulators, European corporations, and the greenhouse gas emissions regulations, all of them form a perfect trifecta to end this company. And that's just if you focus on them. Add to that the warranty service repair issues. Add to that the cost of fuel. Add to that the cost of insurance rising because people are stealing these cars, gunning people down to get these cars. Dude, this can't last. It's absolutely unsustainable. So yes, this Daytona King model, I mean, it's exactly what you expect. They dropped a bigger engine in the same old car. That's what they did. Is it any more exciting? No. You could have just as easily said it had 797 horsepower in it. What difference does it make? What real difference is there between 807 and 797 but 10 horsepower that you won't even be driving fast enough to ever see? What difference is it? I don't see a difference. So basically, that's all I needed to say about this. If you plan on buying one of these things, don't drive it. Wrap that shit in bubble plastic wrap and put that thing in a locker or something. Do not drive this car. And don't let nobody know you got one either, because these motherfuckers will steal the shit from you. They'll gun you down and they'll snatch it off of you.
On November 27th, as the driver of a green Dodge Charger pulls up to a red light at St. Clair Avenue and East 55th Street in Cleveland, a white SUV pulls up behind the Charger and hits the back bumper. The driver of the Charger pulls forward and then gets out to inspect the damage. That's when four gunmen jump out of the SUV and demand that the 29-year-old man give up his car and iPhone. There is a brief struggle, and then when the man tries to run away, one of the gunmen shoots him in the leg. A witness calls 911.
To be continued.